It's another edition of Fear LA Presents Up in the Rafters with your host, the lovable Lakers fan, Mark Gonzales, and with your other host, who doesn't root for any team,
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
Zac Elk.
And welcome to a brand new episode, a brand new edition from a brand new place.
Hey,
Fear LA Presents Up in the Rafters. Yay!
hey, here we are at a new studio.
At a new studio. It is I, Zac Elk. Along with me is the founder, the owner, the entrepreneur, Mark Gonzales.
I'm red-faced today because I was out in the sun on July 4th. I'm sorry.
Now, what did you do on 4th of July?
I literally got wasted and high and sat by the pool like for 10 hours. That's why I look red today.
Yeah. Okay. By the way, you kind of talked about this in pre-production, but like you didn't go to bed late because of fireworks, right?
Oh, dude. Yeah, I was. I spent the night in downtown LA last night, and fireworks were going off until about 3 a.m. I had to wake up at 6, so I really didn't sleep last night either. So that's what these bags are back. But it was rough down there. For some reason, I was really surprised that people in Skid Row could afford fireworks. It's like, really, you guys can barely afford anything else, but fireworks were on the agenda. Okay, makes total sense. Thanks, Governor.
Obviously,
whatever.
the CIA, because if they get drugs smuggled into Skid Row, then obviously they also have fireworks.
Yeah, government-funded fireworks. That's what it is.
They're trying to hope. They were like hoping to have them pointed at each other, so that way that could take care of the homeless population.
Yeah, instead they had it pointed at the window in my car. You should see my fucking car. Those assholes.
Well, this person doesn't know anything about homeless, and he is technically our first guest of our brand new studio. It is none other than Vince McMahon.
Vince McMahon's on the line. We have Vince McMahon. Hi, Vince.
Hello.
Vince, how are you doing? Based on the accusations that were coming out.
Guess what? I don't read the news. But
So it never happened?
Fired. Wait, did you guys get fired from your other place? Is that why you're? I mean, does that mean you got fired from your other place? Is that why you're at a new station?
No, Vince. No, we didn't get fired. We actually were the ones that wanted to move on. So the reason why we switched studios is because it's very far. It is a very far commute for both Mark and I.
Yeah, gas is
I
expensive.
said the F word
Yes.
Oh, yeah, you can. Yeah, you can cuss.
first. Thank you.
Yes. Well, Vince, Mark was kind of talking about it. Mark was kind of talking about it as far as your sexual allegations. Yet you continue to show up on WWE programming. Do you care to explain why you were showing yourself in person despite all of these allegations?
Is it okay if I talk in my regular voice?
Absolutely, Vince.
Sure, Vince. Talk in your regular voice, Vince.
Okay, check it out. Here it is. I'm a guy, and you start from your balls to your wiener, and I'm horny, and I need to
How horny are you?
with the ladies. Oh, I'm so horny. I don't know. Come on, this ain't gonna work. Vince McMahon, me, is not gonna deal with your shit on this show, best show in the whole god dang world.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Vince.
I mean, I wouldn't listen to anything else. I mean, sometimes I just stab things in my ears because I don't want to hear the S stuff that's on the radio or on the internet, because this S dang show is the best dang S show that I've ever heard in my life. And sometimes you want to bust nads. You say nads?
Yes.
You can say anything you want, Vince.
Well,
You're-
I'm gonna
you're-
bust nads, okay? I'm Vincent K. McMahon, and I like to do this sexy thing with the ladies.
Oh, yeah?
And sometimes those ladies need to understand that I'm rich. And when you're rich, you can have sex with the ladies. And I don't care what the ladies say. You're trying to just have sex. You guys want to ask me another question? Because that's my answer to every god dang.
Okay. I do have one question for Vince. Are you ready, Vince? If
Hey.
you have to choose, which child do you like more, Shane or
I'm
Stephanie?
going to say Stephanie. I'm going to cut you off right there because she's a lady.
When it comes to
Wait,
people
is that
who
bad?
look like
Is that
ladies,
alleged?
huh?
Is that alleged? Should I not talk about my daughter? Because I mean, she's my daughter.
I mean, you did have a storyline where you're going to get her pregnant. Do you remember that?
Yeah, there was that.
I don't remember things like that because that's gross. I remember life. And why am I talking like Razor phone? Hey, Steve. This is going terrible. Again, we do this every time, guys. This can't work.
Well,
ask me another question.
Well, you're speaking about women and what you like to do with ladies, but it's long been rumored that you also had sexual affairs with Shawn Michaels. Can you confirm or deny those allegations?
Ooh, Jonathan? Definitely.
Jonathan?
Definitely. There's no alleged.
How can you not? He's a sexy boy.
Yeah. But I spelled it with an I, like sexy boy, like, big boy.
Yeah.
From
so I guess you could say
3000.
he was cute and he was sexy.
And
He's got the looks
that made all the guys wild.
Yes.
He's just a sexy boy.
Wait, is that really alleged?
That was a rumor. Yeah.
That was an old rumor between you and him, Vince.
You don't want to talk to the honky tonk man?
The honky tonk man there? Hold on.
Oh, hold on. He's there with you, Vince? Can you put him on the line, Vince?
Yeah. We'll go to William News Race. We'll go to William News Race.
I love how Honky Tonk Man just starts quoting Delirious from Eddie Murphy.
Oh, he's at the door.
Oh, it looks like it's Mr. Perfect.
Oh, Mr.
Hey,
Perfect.
guys. It's the Perfect Nation. What's up, players?
Mark, isn't this your favorite Intercontinental Champion ever?
Come on, answer that question so I can move on.
Sir, what was your question? I couldn't hear because I was laughing so hard.
Oh, there's another doorbell. Who is it?
Oh,
it's the Brooklyn Brawler.
no, Brooklyn Brawler's here with you, Vince.
Hey, yo, what about a pizza? How about a cannoli, you son of a bitch?
Oh,
He does know about homeless people after all.
By the way, Vince McMahon, I mean, that's a legend, right? I mean, the shaman, you just broke my neck, man. Like,
yeah, that was an old dirt sheet rumor, Vince, that you gave Sean his push because supposedly you let Sean suck you off.
Oh, the sucky. No, that's not gay.
Yeah, condom was on, right?
I mean, so you're saying in theory, Sean is the one who's gay, but not you.
Wait, can we say this? Because I don't want to be canceled. You know how the culture cancels people.
Well, Vince, you're the one that's on the chopping block. We'll be fine.
Oh, well, you're not fired. I'm fired. This is going well. This is going excellent.
Well, thank you so much, Vince, for joining us. You are technically our first guest back on Fear LA Presents Up in the Rafters in our new studio.
Thank
I
you,
would
Vince.
come kiss you any day of the week, by the way.
Yes.
The Brooklyn Brawler and the other person that
Honky Tonk Man. We got to win these
Andy
rings.
Irwin's coming up. Stand by. And welcome back to another part of Fear LA Presents Up in the Rafters. And obviously, this is still brand new to us because this is our first week out of CRN. But that doesn't mean that we're not going to stop continuing to bring guests to you. And we brought a familiar face. So, Mark, who do we have here with us?
One of my good friends, longtime friends. You love him. I love him. I think he's hilarious, especially when people try to come after him and I see him just respond back. And I'm always liking, I'm always replying, and I'm always laughing, especially between him and Harrison. But Anthony Irwin's here.
Woo!
Which it's entertaining. I feel like you're still one of the most entertaining Twitter accounts now.
Well, I appreciate that. For some reason, so I've been doing a little bit more reporting this go around, than in past years, and the follower. I've gained a few followers over the course of this off season, but like it's always funny to randomly drop. So my dad just today sent me this video of this dude who was like doing a handstand off of some bluffs, and I don't think this person knew how this was going to play out. So I think in their mind, they were hoping to like hand shoot off of the cliff and flip and do all these cool things, but it just wound up being like a full on. and so like it's funny to see people react to like that on my timeline as well as per sources Kyrie Irving.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get you know, you get a little bit of everything. I feel like you know, plus they get to kind of see, you know, you as you know, you're what you find is funny, and you as a person, and it's a little bit more personal. So I'm always about that, you know, especially when it comes to like opening up on the internet, letting people know who you are. Aside from, you know,
I can't help it. I can't like, it's not. Harrison always laughs because people are like, oh yeah, that guy's just doing it for clicks, and Harrison's like, no, this is just who that asshole is.
Well, I love you, so I love both of you.
My favorite question to start off with is, who is your favorite Laker, Russell Westbrook or Andre Drummond?
Oh man, God, we're going dark right away, huh?
My best times were when Drummond was on the team and Anthony hated it so much. But anyway.
I'm still not positive Andre Drummond has calf muscles. Like I still don't know. That dude, like he took offense. Apparently he didn't like the Big Penguin nickname, but it's like, you have sloped shoulders and you don't fly. Like, how do you think this is going to play out? All right. So my least favorite Laker between the two of those guys, I still got to go Russ. Like it sucks because for most of his career, I really enjoyed watching him play from afar. It was great. Like the highlights would pop up on your feed, and he'd be doing some insane thing where he's taking off of 2 feet from like a step or so within the free throw line, and he's dunking on entire cities. You're like, man, that's insane. I remember watching him play one time too, and I wanted to go back and do one of those 23andMe things to find out, like, there's no way I am the same species as that guy. Like, those are 2 separate levels of athleticism. No, those are like, he's 37 different levels of athleticism different than me. And then for him to show up, and it's not just the way that he played, but it's also the stuff that you read about, and then the stuff that you hear behind the scenes about him. You know, the whole like holding up his resume thing to tell Vogel to F off or whatever. I Mark, I think you said we can cuss here, but I don't know.
We can
Have at it.
He basically was telling, like, every time Vogel and the rest of the coaching staff was telling him to try on defense, he was just holding up his resume and telling him fuck off. And it's like that. I can deal with all kinds of stuff. I watched Robert Sacre. I watched Marcelo Huertas. I've watched Tyler. Like, I watched bad Lakers before, but the thing that I have a real hard time swallowing is like a lack of effort. And especially when I know, you know, bringing in money into this is kind of a no, but like, when you're making $45 million and you're only playing half of the game, I got problems. I got problems with you.
Yeah, totally. No, I'm the same way, because, you know, as you said earlier, you know, watching him grow up, you know, in the beginning, I was jealous. Absolutely. Like, dude, I want that guy on my team. Yeah. Remember? I mean, he used to go in there, cut everybody.
Utah Jazz fans to like fuck off, like, on the regular. I was like, this dude's got to be a Laker.
He was crazy. You know, Kobe loved him, you know, and I'm like, cool, I want this guy. But the one thing that I always like kept in the back of my mind was that, you know, he was so athletic, incredibly athletic. One day that's going to go away. As we all know, Father Time prevails all the time. But to see him this bad now, like his shooting.
But to add to that, I'm sorry, it still seems as if he has his athleticism, but his shooting has digressed like instantly since OKC.
Zach, at some point last year, this is an actual report that came out. The Lakers wanted him to go check his hands, to go in and see a hand specialist, because they were concerned this dude couldn't catch the ball. They were concerned this guy could, like, he had 2 left hands. It was the weirdest thing last year. It was the shooting, it was the decision making, and then again, like, it's just the complete lack of accountability after he would play poorly. I am who I am, and therefore I can turn the ball over as often as I want. It's like, hold on, you can do that if you're winning. Like you can, if LeBron is ripping off 65 win seasons or 60 win seasons, and he's turning the ball over quite a bit. He's saying he can sit up there and he can say, yeah, well, I'm turning the ball over because I have to thread the needle to get the pass to this place that makes this player a better version of himself. But if you're losing, if you're winning 33 games over the course of the season, and you're losing to teams like the Oklahoma City Thunder, who were trying to lose, like they were pissed when they would beat the Lakers. It's hard to hear after games, oh, I am who I am. My resume speaks for itself. It's like, you didn't get your resume with the Lakers. Lakers fans don't care about your resume. You didn't do any of that stuff with us.
Yeah.
So do you think, like, because that's one thing, like I give Pelinka credit for trying. I give them all credit for trying every season, but obviously it did not happen last season. Do you think if Westbrook was willing to play ball, get along with everybody, obviously with Bogle, they could have at least achieved some success, like down the line?
It's all relative. Like, I thought last year everybody was the worst version of themselves, right? Including Frank. Like I thought Frank coached really poorly last year. I thought LeBron was his most passive aggressive when the leadership that you needed to take there was more hands-on. Anthony Davis, I thought, came into camp a little out of shape. And I'm not alone in thinking that. There are some people like from the Lakers who kind of, we know you wanted to play 5 and you're trying to bulk up, but that doesn't mean you should be shooting as poorly as you were, And so, I thought all around everything went about as poorly as it possibly could. So maybe with more buy-in, they get to like 40 wins, or something like that. But you did have the AD injuries, plural. You had LeBron missing significant time. And again, like you had Russell Westbrook, who, like, maybe he buys in a little bit, and the defense was really bad last year. So maybe if the defense is a little bit better, the team is a step or two better. But he is who he is, I think, at this stage of his career. That's why I want the Lakers to trade him the way that I do, is because, basically since they've hired Ham, they've done this whole thing where, oh yeah, Russ is going to buy in and we're talk to him about defense and we'll do this. And it's like, well, they did all that before last year. Like LeBron and AD, they sat down with Russ and they talked about the things that everybody was going to need to do in order to make it work. And even after that talk, Russ got to the season. It's like double middle fingers up. Like, no, I'm going to be me. I'm still going to do the things that I'm going to do the way that I want to do them. So, I think with a little bit more buy-in, you get a little bit better, but I don't think it like changes the course of the season.
So, I mean, obviously now we know where you stand with Russ going into next year. Is it safe to say that you want in on the Kyrie Irving sweepstakes? Because Mark wants to get him crystals. I want to get him a flat earth yoga mat. Like, where do you stand on getting Kyrie Irving to the Lakers?
So Harrison and I, for our show, we put a game together of off-season bingo, right? And you have like the usual stuff. It's like so-and-so is going to gain 15 pounds of muscle. Anthony Davis is going to start making shots again, stuff like that. One of my squares is that Kurt Rambis is going to start working with Kyrie Irving on his internet awareness. I'm not going to go so far as to say it's like I am team Kyrie. This is the direction that I would have wanted the Lakers to go in. I actually would have preferred, especially given what we found out about how little it costs to get Malcolm Brogdon. I would have preferred to go and get Brogdon and get healed. I guess there was a report over the weekend that the Lakers are still kind of talking to Indiana about a potential Miles Turner and Buddy Hield type package for Russell Westbrook. The deal for the package from Charlotte, where it's, I think, Gordon Hayward and either Kelly Oubre and one of the Plumlee brothers and or potentially Terry Rozier. So like I would have preferred to like break up Russ's contract into a few smaller contracts so that you have a little bit more flexibility. But the Lakers, the way that they have always operated, they're going to go out and get the star. If they have the opportunity to go out and get the star, they're going to go out and get the star. So you combine that with the fact that like LeBron from day one on this has wanted Kyrie back. Like as soon as Russell Westbrook patted him on the head. Do you guys remember that? Like over last season, there's the picture of Russ, like AD has his head down and Russ has his hand on LeBron's head. That was a moment when LeBron was like, get this this dude.
Just bum off my team.
Yeah, if he goes and shows the camera the stuff that's going to come off of my head when he lifts his hand, this dude's got to go. So I think LeBron has been in on Kyrie Irving from day one. That's what I've heard basically from the beginning of this. You combine that with the fact that the Lakers have historically operated for stars, and it's not really a surprise that Kyrie is their number one target right now.
Real quick on the Indiana thing, because Chad Buchanan is the general manager of the Indiana Pacers, and he was the guy who was pretty much like holding up Paul George hostage when Paul George wanted to come to the Lakers. Do you think the Lakers would have been able to execute the same type of assets for a Malcolm Brogdon, or do you think because it's the Lakers, this guy would have been like, no, we want more? And it's like, to me, I just feel as if the Pacers are intentionally trying to make the tax happen more for the Lakers than other teams.
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be a Lakers tax. I will say, so Chaz Buchanan. Chaz was the bartender turned scout for the Lakers. Chad Buchanan with the Pacers, he's actually fairly good buddies with the guy that I host The Hook with on Fridays, Aaron Larsoul. And you have, like, when you have ties to an organization like that, it makes it really kind of difficult to screw over that organization. I know that the way that things went down with Paul George, that was definitely a Lakers tax, not just at the executive level, but at the ownership level, where you have a small market owner not wanting to help a bigger market or the big market in LA. So that's always going to be a factor. But I mean, at the end of the day, so teams like Indiana, Atlanta operates like this, Charlotte operates like this. If you can get a player who helps you get to like 40, 45 wins or so, and is a big enough name to sell tickets and put butts in seats, maybe sell the occasional jersey too, that owner is going to override the executive. And so like the thing that I always thought Twitter experts were kind of overlooking was that, like Charlotte, for example, with Michael, Russell Westbrook is a Jordan athlete. Russ, like for all of his flaws, he is going to kind of raise the floor of what your team is capable of. He is going to help you get to like 30-ish, he'll add like 5 wins or whatever to your total over the course of the season with what production he's capable of. And that's why Charlotte was interested in him. You move some bad deals and you get a short-term deal here. You don't have to invest long-term with Russ. And you arrive at that place. And I think with Buchanan and Indiana, I think the Lakers probably would have had a bet to pay more than, say, Boston would have. But I don't think they were as adamantly against a move this time around than they were when the cornerstone of their franchise was trying to bully them into sending him to the Lakers.
That makes sense. Now, as much as like I want to see Westbrook gone, obviously, I think we all do. I think we could all agree to that. I want him gone, and to see Kyrie possibly joining, it brings me some excitement. Do you have any type of like little concern? I have like a little concern. Like I just don't know if it's necessarily, but I think it's gonna be more off court than on court.
Yeah, well, the Lakers have always had that concern. This isn't even the first time, by the way, that they've checked in on Kyrie Irving. Like they have had talks on Kyrie Irving. This isn't even the second time because they did it back at the deadline. Now they're doing it here. But even before that, they've checked in on his availability, and they had, they've gone so far as to not necessarily have a deal in place, but they got to the point with Kyrie where they were checking in on the stuff you're talking about, Mark, with like how's he going to handle the off court stuff, and arrived at the conclusion back then of, yeah, he's not going to handle LA particularly well. And I think that's something that they're still kind of nervous about here too. I'm still nervous about it too. Man, he's like one YouTube search away from early retirement, like at all times. We just never know. There's an actual, like, I always I know I lean on this crutch quite a bit in saying that there's an actual report out there, but there's a literal report. Somebody from the Nets was willing to go to the media and leak that they were concerned that if they signed this dude to a long-term contract, he would just retire, just leave. Like that's something that the Nets and other teams around the league are actually nervous about. So like, you never know with this dude. And so yeah, I'm nervous about that too. But the thing that Kyrie does offer is a puncher's chance. And when you have LeBron and when you have AD, all you got to do is give those guys an opportunity to be special. And that core that the Lakers had, not the core, but the surrounding pieces that they had when they won that championship a couple seasons ago, like those guys were good enough to let LeBron and AD be special. You know, just go out there and do the insane things that we know that you're capable of doing on a basketball court. And I think with Russ on the team, and because of the amount of money that he makes, you can't surround them with the guys that allow those guys to be special. That's not possible. Kyrie makes a little bit less. He spaces the floor a little bit more, and he does allow those guys, at least theoretically, to be special and go out and win you a couple series that you otherwise wouldn't have had a chance at.
We're talking with Anthony Irwin, and of course you can follow him on Twitter. He is a big personality, one of our favorite Laker accounts to follow on Twitter. And what I want to know now is, because we're talking about players, how about the new head coach, Darvin Ham? I mean, we talked about how Frank Vogel wasn't getting much respect, whether it be Russ, whether it be Kyrie. Do you think with all the superstar power that this first-year head coach can demand the respect out of the players?
Man, you never know with first-time head coaches, but if you are going to gamble on a first-time head coach, you want the guy who, in his introductory press conference, brags about being shot in the face and that making him fearless. Like, that's the dude. I heard that, and he was like, yeah, you can go in two directions there. You can live in fear, or you can live fearlessly. And I'm like, fear? Yeah. Can I get some more? And so he's very inspiring, I think, in that respect. He's very different from Frank in that, like, there are clips of Darvin Ham breaking backboards and stuff in college, with his ability to dunk. He actually competed against Kobe in the slam dunk contest that Kobe won. So like, there's the bona fides there that I think you can really lean on, you can really point to. And then also, while the Lakers were going through their process of talking to different coaches and stuff, as the name would pop up, I would ask people kind of around the league how they felt about him. And I didn't hear a single person who not just undecided, no, we'll see how this guy does. No, every single person that I spoke to said, no, this guy is a badass. This dude is insanely inspiring. This dude knows his shit.
Really?
This guy's going to be really, really good. So just like, I remember when Luke Walton got the job, and, my apologies, Geeter, if you're listening, but like, I remember when Luke Walton got the job, I did the same thing. And back then I didn't have quite, the amount of contacts or whatever, but I remember back then it says even more about the response that I got. Was like, I would ask people about Luke Walton. They're like, well, you got to make sure that he doesn't have free reign with his assistant coaches. He got that, and it wasn't great. And then the other one that I got that was kind of a red flag with Luke was like, yeah, he is really good when he's focused on a singular thing as a part of a coaching staff. But if he's the CEO and he has to watch over everything, I don't know that he has the attention to detail to get that done, right? And those were a couple issues that really, those red flags really came to fruition over the course of Luke's tenure. And I think here with Darvin, not a single mention of anything even close to that. It was just every single person I spoke to said this dude should have had an opportunity by now. Now he's got this opportunity, and he gets this opportunity with LeBron and with AD, and maybe a Kyrie with parental controls on his internet. This guy's going to take off.
That was my biggest concern with Ham, because to be honest, I didn't really know nothing, but I really didn't know anything about him. I've heard of him and that was it. But just hearing just what you just mentioned about him gives me more confidence in the fact that with the possibility of surrounding AD with and LeBron with Kyrie with Ham, it sounds like a great sandwich. Something delicious that I will enjoy. Yeah. I mean, because I'm nervous for this season. I'm not gonna lie, I am very nervous for this season. I just don't want us to fail again, and I feel like this year we have as much as they kind of shit the bed a couple times with with really just betting on themselves. Maybe this is the season that we kind of turn things around. But I mean, with the West being stacked as it is, do you think it's a good possibility we could still, say theoretically we get Kyrie? Do you think we could still land in that top 3, top 4, 5-ish, maybe?
I think top 5-ish is the right range, I would say. Yeah. The thing with every LeBron team is that he's not going to care about the regular season in the same way that we would like the Lakers to care about the regular season.
Blaze wide.
Yeah, he knows exactly the kind of calendar that he needs to put himself on so that he's peaking as the playoffs are getting started. So that's always going to be his primary focus there. The thing I will say is that and I agree with you, Mark. I in my coverage of the Lakers, I try to bring a little bit of sarcasm to it and stuff like that. I like to laugh. I like to have a good time with it. And comedy, the best comedy usually comes from dark places. Yes. So Harrison always says, I don't know if you know what you would have to do if the Lakers were actually good, and I would say I would kick my feet up and I would enjoy it. And the dark humor would come at laughing at the other teams. Right.
Yeah.
And I think here with this Lakers season, it's going to be another year where you have a wide range of possibilities. The spectrum on how this thing could play out is still going to be all over the place. But I will say that when the Lakers are actually at their best, if this Kyrie thing does go down, which I think it's going to, but if they trade for Kyrie Irving and they fill out the roster, maybe they get Joe Harris and fingers crossed on Seth Curry. If they get this done at their best, they are going to be insanely fun to watch.
Yeah,
ridiculously fun to watch. And even heading into last season, I had questions about how fun they would be to watch, because you're going to have LeBron operating in a broom closet. You're going to have AD operating with 2 or 3 defenders around him at all times. And then, if they got out into the open court with Russ, he'd be really fun. But would he defend well enough to get out into the open court? And so I had questions about the actual basketball and how that was going to look. If Kyrie is a Laker next year and he has LeBron and AD next to him, I don't have those questions about the basketball. The basketball is actually going to be spectacular. It's just a matter of can AD stay healthy? Can LeBron stay healthy? Can Kyrie, not do Kyrie things?
Stay safe.
Yeah, right.
Not touch the ayahuasca or whatever the hell it's pronounced.
Right. Yeah.
Do acid.
Can Kyrie just limit it to one rabbit hole per month? If he can, I know analytics are crazy at this point, but one rabbit hole per month for Kyrie, and I think the Lakers are okay.
What is the show that you're binging the most this year?
So I actually I had a really good time watching all of the Holy Moly shows. It's the mini golf show that Steph Curry has, and Rob Riggle is the color commentator, and it's like Wipeout meets putt-putt. So I had a really good time watching that. Right now, actually, my wife and I are watching this show called Alone. I should have started The Boys. The Boys is spectacular.
I haven't. I saw the first season and I haven't. It's at season 3 now, right?
Mark, this is your show.
I know.
I'm telling you, this is like having spoken to you over the years. This is your show.
Yeah.
Super dark humor. They made a play on the whichever Kardashian it was that was holding the Pepsi can up and the top. Like they did that. Oh, they pulled off the joke. It's so good. So that's my favorite show, maybe period on TV right now. But we're also watching this show called Alone, and it's about I think it's like 10 contestants who go out into British Columbia, and they're in the wilderness, and it's basically whoever can last 100 days in British Columbia, living completely off of the land. And where they're living, there's a bunch of grizzlies kind of roaming around.
Oh,
yeah. And so like every episode or so, you get one of these crazy white people that are trying to scream away a grizzly bear while the grizzly is like, man, that Chick-fil-A over there looks fantastic. it's really good. It's really suspenseful. I really enjoy that. But The Boys might be my favorite TV show currently airing right now.
Yeah, because I remember watching the first season, and I remember it was dark as hell, and it was very entertaining, and it was different because with Marvel and DC movies, you get stuff that's more family friendly and adult humor, some.
Yeah.
But with The Boys, I was like, holy shit! Like this is
some they go places. They like unflinchingly go places too. They're just like, oh yeah, this is the scene where this guy's gonna drink cow's milk straight from the udder. Yeah. Captain America is just like this complete sicko.
Yeah.
2 times over. Yeah, it's great. I don't want to spoil any of the show for anybody who's watching or listening, but it's so effing good. It's so good. Like the twists are really fun. It's actually like the writing and the direction of the story I really find really good, and it's just absolutely hilarious. I find so much of it just really funny.
Have you had a chance to watch this last season of Stranger Things?
Yeah.
So for some reason I wasn't into it as much as this year. My wife Jen is really into it. She's been watching it pretty relentlessly. And I basically took this whole season off. I think they just added 2 new episodes or something like that.
Yeah.
Do I have that right? And so we just got back from this cruise, and I still feel like I'm on the boat. Like, I don't know if you guys ever get that. So I just like I'm there on the couch, like in the fetal position, and I have my eyes closed, and I'm just kind of like trying to center myself. And I turn over, and there's this dude who just looks like straight veins for some reason, and he's talking. So I wasn't prepared for that. Or the direction that episode went in. But it looks good, and I've heard good things about it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed it a lot. I think, Zach, have you seen it yet?
Yeah, I'm up to episode 5, and I actually just started the first episode yesterday. So I was in the same boat as you, where I was like, let me try watching it, and then I would fall asleep. And then yesterday was 4th of July. I was like, before I go to this fireworks show, let me start this. And then I just ended up skipping the fireworks show, and watching it 5 straight episodes.
Dude, it's so addicting.
So you just got to get it going. That's it. Like, then it will be a ride. But like the first episode took a while before you actually felt something.
I've basically been like you, where in past seasons I raced through all of them, and I finished them within like the first couple of days of it being out. I don't know why this time around I wasn't as I haven't been as interested in it, but like, Jen's giving birth in September, so I'm going to be up on parental leave for paternity leave for a while. So I'll probably get to I'm going to be watching Stranger Things with my day-old baby.
I was like, you're gonna hold on to that baby as like on that veiny character that you're talking about shows up.
Yeah. How about any comedy specials? Any comedians that you've been watching?
Oh my God, dude! Did you watch the with Bob Saget, the kind of farewell thing that they did for him?
I was trying to go to that show, but I haven't seen it yet. It's on my queue. How is it?
I was not prepared for it to be as funny as it was at times. I wasn't prepared for it to be as touching as it was at times. It's weird for some reason. This like latest generation of comedians, it's not enough just to be hilarious, but like Bo Burns had his that like was crazy introspective and stuff. I'm blanking on the dude from HBO. My name, where I think it's the special is his like birth name or something like that. God, I'm blanking. And then this one,
Gerard Comical.
Yeah. His and his like he like comes out in his special, which was crazy. And then this one, so it's wild. It's been really cool. It's wild to watch all of these specials, not just poke and prod you in the way the comedians can, but also like really kind of touch and pull at your emotional heartstrings too, in the way that they were able to. So those three really stand out. And then Bill Burr did one where he had like his collection of friends on Netflix do one. And there were a couple comedians there who really stood out to me. There was the one I'm blanking on the name. There was a
Jessica?
Girl, the one who the really high pitched girl. I forget her voice is. She's done stuff like I think she did like Biden's. She did a roast or something of Biden, and then there was this black dude that did a Michael Jackson joke that if you haven't seen it yet, I'm not gonna try to redo it because it's a great way for me to get myself canceled.
We don't want that.
Wrong. But you got to watch that Michael Jackson joke. It's fantastic. That dude's. I'll send the link to you after this. It's
please.
Yeah.
Well, that was all of our time. Thank you so much, Anthony, for being our first guest since we left CRN Talk. So thank you again.
I'm blessed. I'm honored to be you guys' first guest. You guys are anytime you guys need somebody, give me a call. I'm always around the corner.
Absolutely. Thank you, Anthony.
Follow him on Twitter at Anthony Irwin. That's IRWINLA. And then go ahead and give him a follow on podcasts, whether it's Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, The Anthony Irwin Show, through Silver Screen and Roll. Thank you again. We'll talk to you soon.
Later, brother. Thank you. Go Lakers.